Hello everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick overview of what's going on each week in space, and today we're going to be talking about the first week of April 2018. Our first item is an interesting mission regarding space debris. It's called Remove Debris, and it's a small, affordable mission. This is going to be a satellite with a harpoon and a net and a drag sail that's going to attempt to demonstrate that you can affordably capture and deorbit space debris. The whole package of this operation is 220 pounds, and it was created by the Surrey Satellite Tech organization out of the UK. And the cost of the whole thing is only $19 million. Space debris is a huge problem, so hopefully this will be part of the solution. SpaceX is attempting to do more recycling. This story is about recycling the nose cones of the Falcon rockets, the fairings. So what their plan is to we'll use the fairings and a parasail to slow the descent of the fairings and maneuver a ship called Mr. Stephen beneath the fairing so they can capture it before the fairing hits the water. They don't want the impact of the water. They don't want the salt water on the fairings. What happened is there was problems with the parafoil, and apparently some of the shrouds got tangled or something. So they need to make some adjustments on the parafoil to hopefully improve and make this be a more reliable situation. But again, more innovation from SpaceX. SpaceX did a mission to the International Space Station using, of course, the Dragon. And this mission carried 5,800 pounds of experiments, and cargo, and hardware up to the International Space Station. In terms of the experiments that were aboard, there's over 250 different experiments. The ones that caught my attention were about growing food, a very interesting variable G platform. This is something that we really sorely need to get more knowledge, particularly about 1/6 G and the 3/8 G of Mars, how animals and plants fare under these reduced gravity situations. They also had an interesting thunderstorm experiment to study thunderstorms. The Dragon is going to stay at the space station for about a month, and then it's going to bring back samples from all these experiments. More Falcon 9 news. SpaceX is working to enhance the Falcon 9. The upcoming version is called the Block 5. It's planned to be the last version of the Falcon 9. The main focus of this new rocket, this new iteration of the Falcon 9, is high, simple, rapid reusability. The first launch of this thing is supposed to be on April 24th. The idea is the first stage can fly up to 100 times. So far, the most a first stage has flown is twice. So to move from twice to 100 times is a pretty big thing. And the idea is it can go 10 flights, then it needs to go through a major servicing, then do 10 more flights and another major servicing. And going through this pattern, they hope to get up to 100 flights. To highlight some of the reusability on this mission to the International Space Station, both the first stage was reused and the Dragon was reused. So where we are moving forward is, in most cases for ISS resupply, the only item that is going to really be discarded is the second stage. The first stage, the Dragon, and the fairings are all intended to be reused. SpaceX's primary competition is Blue Origin. They're working on the New Glenn rocket, and they've made some changes recently in their plans for this rocket regarding the upper stage engines. Blue Origin has been working on the BE4 engine, which is a methane oxygen engine, and they've decided that to keep to their schedule, they need to accelerate things, and they want to use their BE3 engine now on the upper stages. What this means is the first stage will still be methane oxygen, and the upper stages will be hydrogen oxygen. This is hopefully going to allow them to keep to their schedule of launching in 2020 for the New Glenn rocket. A very interesting story about a company that wants to open up a space hotel by 2022. Very aggressive time frame. The company is called Orionspan. I looked them up online, and although I'm not familiar with the company prior to this story, the people behind the company seem to have a lot of good relevant space experience. And they want to call this hotel Aurora Station. The financial end of this is that a 12-day visit to the station is anticipated to cost about $10 million. In terms of size, this thing is about 1/6 of the size of the International Space Station in terms of pressurized volume, and it can accommodate 4 guests. Virgin Galactic made the news with a powered flight of their VSS Unity ship. You see some imagery here. This was the first time they'd had a powered flight for this ship, the VSS Unity. It reached Mach 1.9 with a 30-second burn, and I'm sure everybody at Virgin Galactic is ecstatic that the flight went well, and hopefully we'll see next steps in the very near future. In a very interesting turn, there are changes planned now for Boeing's first commercial crew flight using the Starliner. The idea had been that the first flight with a crew on it was going to be a 2-person thing for 2 weeks, but that may now be completely changed. Now what NASA is interested in doing is extending the flight from being a 2-week mission to a 6-month mission, and increasing the crew aboard from 2 people to 3 people. And as a consequence of these changes, the first flight might not happen until 2019 instead of 2018. Part of this pressure is that right now we rely on the Russian Soyuz vehicle to get all of our astronauts to and from the space station, and our last arrangements with them expire in 2019. So NASA really needs 2 different providers ready to go to take crew to and from the space station by next year, and this seems to be what this is all about. So hopefully this will go well. That's it for Space Headlines covering the first week of April 2018. Hope you enjoyed our show, and we'll see you in about a week. Take care.